SavvySam here. I have a recipe that I have been making for years now. It's a variation on the Oreo slash dirt cake that you've probably seen out there online. Only I have jazzed it up a little bit. Each year I make it a couple of times a year and I do something a little bit different. One year for Halloween I did a kitty litter version, which really wigged out my friends, and they completely thought that I had really actually put one of my cat litter boxes on the table with the rest of the food, and nobody touched it until like 2:30 into the night when I told them it's not actually kitty litter. So that was a lot of fun to make, putting out Tootsie Rolls in there to make it look like it was actual poop, and food coloring it with some blue food coloring to make the Oreos kind of look like cat litter, like the Arm & Hammer baking soda cat litter. Another one that I've done is a graveyard cake, where I take little figurines that I've gotten on clearance at Michael's, and this one is the Grim Reaper, of course, riding off. I also have a bridge here that has some gargoyles on it, just some different things that I've gotten. I've even gotten just some little grave headstones that are just lots of fun, and little skull too. You probably really can't see that very well. But just sort of fun things that I've done, so I call that my graveyard cake. But this year I wanted to do something a little bit different. I actually have a potluck at work tomorrow, and so I thought this would be a great time for me to go ahead and make this. But I'm going to make it the Winter Wonderland style. So let's get started. I've already pre-mixed everything, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do all this. But basically what you're going to need is to mix everything together. So it's really easy. It's a no-bake recipe, so it's really nice and simple. You're going to need, of course, Oreos. And I like to get the double stuffed because it just gives the most gooey yumminess, for lack of better words. You're also going to need a cup of powdered sugar and Jell-O. Usually I use the chocolate variety. So you're going to need to get the large box, and you're going to need 3 cups of milk to go with that to make that. And you're also going to need a stick of butter, so half a cup of butter, and cream cheese, and then also a container of Cool Whip. And we'll talk about the marshmallows here in a second. So we're going to go ahead, and the first thing you want to do is create the pudding, and then go ahead and just put that in the refrigerator and let it sit. And then you're going to go ahead and crumble up the Oreos. Now, I have a nice little food processor here that my wonderful mother-in-law gave to me a couple of years ago. So that makes it really easy, but it does mean that it makes it really fine. So if you like your Oreos bigger and chunky, then you're probably just going to want to do what I've seen online, is other people actually use like meat grinders, not meat grinders, but meat tenderizers and different things like that in a Ziploc bag. Put all the Oreos in a Ziploc bag and then hammer that sucker, or just get a regular hammer. And that will make them a little bit bigger and not going to be quite as fine. You could also probably put it in like a blender for making juice and stuff, and just put it on the puree setting. So we're going to go ahead, and the first thing we want to do is put down this first layer. And as you can see, hopefully, with the double stuff, you get lots of the icing in it, so it's really yummy. And of course, with my clean hands, I am going to spread this out, and just spread it out a little bit throughout the whole bottom here. And then I'm going to do my next layer. Drop a little bit of Oreos on the ground, apparently. So my next layer here is I'm just going to go ahead and put in a good helping of the mixture. And basically, I've sort of jumped ahead here, but all you're doing is, once the pudding has sort of set, you're going to mix in the container of Cool Whip and put those two together in one bowl. And in a separate bowl, you're going to mix together the butter and the cream cheese, and then go ahead and mix those in really nicely. And something I like to do, just to give it a little extra chocolate flavor, I like to go ahead and add in some of the Hershey's cocoa. I usually put in about a half a cup of that, and that's just because I like a lot of chocolate, y'all. So I just add that in a little bit extra. You want to make sure that your butter is at room temperature and really soft. Mine is unfortunately a little bit chunky this time, but hopefully people won't notice, because since it doesn't bake, it's not going to melt down. So people are going to be like, oh, I just ate a little piece of butter. But We're going to roll with it this time. All right. So then you're just going to do the same thing. Repeat, rinse and repeat. We're just going to go ahead and put down Oreos here. Little crumbled Oreos. And now you can see why it's called a dirt cake. I know a lot of people put in like worms and all sorts of fun things. The kids really love that. I have done a worm cake before too. What you can also do, especially if you're having it for a kid's party, and this is a little bit difficult to serve out, you might actually just want to go ahead and put these in like little cups. Especially if you can get some clear cups, then you can actually see the different layers. It's sort of fun for kids, and stick the worms in there. And they can find little gummy worms. Not real worms, people. Gummy worms. You don't want to freak out all the kids. Let's see. And so then the next thing I want to do is do my second and last layer of the pudding. I'm just going to go ahead, space that out here real quick. And the only thing you need to remember is just to have it all mixed up together and just save yourself enough for each layer. And, you know, save yourself a little bit so that you can lick the bowl afterwards. You know, just some. All right. And if it gets mixed up, if some of your dirt gets on top, it's okay because you're going to put another layer on. Even if this was your top layer and a little bit of dirt got on, dirt, quote unquote, as in Oreos, got on the top up here, it's okay because it's just, you're going to kind of do that anyway. You're actually going to put a last little layer of Oreos on the very top normally anyway. And if your pudding doesn't mix out as well or spread out as well, just like mine is giving me fits here, that's okay. It's still yummy. Y'all like my apron? I did not put poison in the food. However, I did find this at Target and I thought it was adorable. And I had to have it because I love everything Halloween. So, which is why normally I would be showing you my version of a dirt cake. So, a graveyard cake version. Alright, so then the last little bit, usually you can also just take it and sort of scatter it around a little bit like this. We're just going to scatter it around. Sound like Bob Ross. Just a little bit right here, just a little bit. Just scatter it around. Yeah, just a little bit. Alright. So, I'm sure you can make a healthy version or a healthier version. You could use low fat, everything. I'm sure there's healthy butter out there, made with canola oil and stuff. I don't usually have that around my house, unfortunately, so, and I really don't think the people at my work are really going to care for me to have a healthy version of this, so we're just going to go with the full fat version this time. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I would normally leave it this way and put all my little figurines on here and then spook it up a bit, but this time, since I am making the Winter Wonderland version, I'm going to take the Cool Whip and my spatula here, and I'm going to hopefully, no, probably not, spread this out. I want to spread this out as much as possible, but if you get some of the dirt in, it's going to be okay. We're just going to roll with it. Just going to roll with it here, you guys. Alright. Oh, this is not going to turn out exactly like I wanted it, but that's okay. Sometimes those things happen. You know, Oreo doesn't like for things to spread on top of it very much. So, just work with it as best you can. I even wonder if like melting some ice cream and pouring some ice cream would have worked possibly better on top of this. I've actually not done this version before. I've done the graveyard cake bunch and I've done a kitty litter version, but I have not done my version of a Winter Wonderland Oreo cake. Alright, we're going to go with it. That's what it's going to look like for right now. So, look at all the bowls I get to lick. Okay, then the next thing that you want to do, our snow, is going to be some of the powdered sugar, the confectioner sugar. And you're just going to want to take it and sprinkle it around, which is why I'm not too worried about how the Cool Whip looks, because I'm going to really pretty much hide everything. Just going to sprinkle this around. And again, we have dirt under our snow down here. I'm in Georgia, and so we usually don't have a full-on white layer. So People around here will probably be like, oh yeah, that's snow. As to where if you're in a place that gets a lot of snow, you might probably be like, oh, that's just a fine little dusting there. We get black ice down here. That's our problem. And I don't think a lot of people know how to drive on that. Maybe, maybe not. Now I've just created a huge controversy. No. Okay. So, stop there for a second, show you. So you can see, it looks a little bit like snow. So I'm going to add some of the snow shine that you get. I'm calling it shine. You know that you get whenever the sun hits it? Just by adding a little bit of granulated sugar. A little bit. Like I said, this is not a healthy dessert that you take to an event where people are like, oh, let's eat some fruit and stuff. I have another video coming up that I'll talk to you guys about that will be for that healthy. All right, just a little bit, like probably not even a quarter of a cup. And that's what you're going to put on it for the Winter Wonderland effect. And then I have a little Christmas tree here, cookie cutter, just a little cookie cutter. But I'm going to go ahead and stick that on here, little Christmas tree. And then, aren't these adorable? I made little snowmen out of marshmallows. I've got the marshmallows, and I've got those. So I went ahead and made one, just going to stick it in there, and he's going to fall over, I bet you. And I made one for one me and one of my husband. And then I'll show you here what I did. So, you're just going to go ahead and take the head and just dip it into, I have the Wilton, this is the food coloring gel. It's the Wilton Brown food coloring gel. I'm just going to dip my, what is this called? They're called party sticks. Oh my goodness, toothpicks. Brain stopped for a second. And I'm just going to stick it in there. And you can see it's going to leave a little dot. And then I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to stick it in again. And there's his little eyes. And then I've got his little nose here. I'm going to stick that in there. Oh, look how cute that is. That's a little Jenna Marbles voice there. I say that every once in a while. My husband just sort of looks at me and he's like, okay, you're doing a Jenna Marbles voice again. Actually, usually he just looks at me like I'm crazy. And if your eyes are coming out a little bit sideways, you can always just add in, dip in a little bit extra, make them a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. This will probably be me because look, it's got eyeliner. Got the eyeliner coming out there. And then one other. He sort of looks like a scary snowman. Angry snowman. Okay, and then you're going to take a couple of toothpicks. That's what we decided these things are called, right? And you're going to stick it in there just a little bit. Not all the way through. Don't have him come all the way through. You're going to hold the toothpick and stick on the next marshmallow. So you should be able to pull this little piece through here at the bottom. And then you're going to stick in the next one. And at this point I can feel it. It is coming through the top. Owie, my fingers. Alright, but you should be able to pull it. So see, you can't see it at the bottom and the top. It's holding your little guy together. And then just get some arms and stick them in there. Little arms. Hello, everybody. You could put more toothpicks out and put other marshmallows and make legs if you want, but I haven't usually made, this is a traditional snowman, so I haven't really usually made those with actually having legs and stuff. So, let's see if you'll want to sit there. There you go, you guys are so cute. I hope you guys can see that pretty well. Alright, we're just going to scooch all this out of the way. I'm afraid to move it forward too much or they're going to fall down, just like that. There you go. So there's your little family of snowmen. I've also got some little animals over here. We have a few cats, putting it mildly. But these are actually little camels. I guess if you want to do like a whole little nativity scene, you could probably get some Ghirardelli or other chocolate bars and just set them up and use some frosting to pan it all together, put it all together. And then that would be adorable. I'm apologizing for my sniffles, you guys. I've got a little bit of sniffles here. So they're just all walking in the dirt and the snow. They're just going to be our little animals here. They're just all coming to hang around the Christmas tree. And probably what also would be really cute, and I didn't think about this because I don't eat them, is some little gumdrops. Would have been adorable. Just having some different little gumdrops here. So I've got all my little animals. I don't have this many animals, do I? I don't know. My friends that know me are probably going to be like, yeah, you do. And then what you could also do is take some marshmallows and just sort of stack them up like it's little bits of snow here in the corner. And maybe on the floor. You know, 1 or 2 on the floor. Oh, look at that, 1 or 2 on the floor. And my dog is sleeping right over there. Doesn't even get up and jump and come and eat them. He is such a good boy. Totally sleeping. He probably is like, I have no idea. If I knew there were marshmallows on the ground, Mommy, I would come over there and eat them up, right? That one fell on the table. We don't. Okay, you guys, that's so cute. You could also add like a little bit of confectioner's sugar just on top of everything. Just a little bit. Just sort of on top of everything. Oh, he lost his face. Oh well. Okay. This is fun, you guys. I just had so much fun making this, obviously. Now I can't eat it until tomorrow. But, what do you think? So cute, right? Really adorable. And it's just, I just have fun with these. I love to just do different kind of variations on them. And just, whatever. So, maybe I'll do a Valentine's Day version. That would be fun with like do a dark chocolate version. Yummy. Alright, well you guys, thanks so much for joining me. Please be sure, if you enjoyed this video, you got to laugh at me, dropping junk on the ground, please be sure to comment on if you've made a dirt cake and if you've done any kind of variation on it. I would love to hear about that. And please subscribe. I'm going to be doing more videos like this and talking about other things about life. My sister's going to be coming and visiting me next week, and we're going to do a couple of videos together about different things, about hair and makeup, and also talking about just being a teenager, because she's a teenager and there's junk that people go through. So please be sure to come on back next week, and I hope to see you then. Thanks so much. Bye!